Hello, anyone who is watching archivally. This is the first stream I've done in a while. We're just gonna get settled in here. I don't know if anyone will actually end up attending. It's been a minute, but if so, we'll, I guess, answer any questions folks might have. Alright, I think I've gotten everything posted to all the important places, so now, it's just a matter of very quickly getting into what we're getting into today. The last thing I did for this project was resolve, and then I took a much needed break that was very nice and very enjoyable. And now, of course, I did the reasonable thing and decided right after resolve, we should do another very complicated thing for the comic, which is a walk around, which you could probably suspect if you're familiar with Homestuck and you've been following the project and you recognize like what these sprites are. These are Mina's sprites from Openbound. So today we'll be wrapping up some of the environment art. We'll be showing some of the things I've been doing in Flash or Adobe Animate to generate environment assets that are animated. And that's probably going to be it. We'll probably go from about now to 12:30 Pacific Standard Time. And this will just kind of be here as a reminder that no, I haven't canceled anything. It's just been a nice break. Yeah, and that's about it. I'll keep an eye on the chat if anyone has any questions, but other than that, I'm just gonna silently do some pixel art, and you can, I don't know, put on some of your own music in the background, or whatever you might like to do. And it's certainly been quite a time for the Homestuck fandom lately. I really envy the people that don't ever seem to say anything about what's going on. I think they have the right idea. And of course, I'm just too nosy. I think the less you pay attention to anything outside of the canon itself, probably the happier you'll be in the long run. Maybe it's a shame that that's true, but if you're watching archivally and I end up repeating myself, that'll just be for the benefit of if I do get anyone coming into the stream throughout the morning. Oh, hi, Cole. My friend Cole just entered. Back at it again with the rocks? That's true. Someone's gotta pixel these rocks, and by golly, it might as well be me. hard to decide where the shapes are in this thing. Because I know that there is like just two little jutting shapes here, and I've simplified that down, and that's really easy. I can tell where the facets are, but it's starting to invent the other shapes and how they work together as we go kind of lower into the forms here. I should probably have something going kind of like this. Yeah, I think that works. And I'm working on many different layers here, sort of painting it up, so the one thing that's obnoxious about that is if I want to change like the shape of the rocks altogether to make this feel like more, give it a little bit more interest, then I really have to go through all of the layers to erase that out. That should be good though. We're gonna do this until I get bored of it. I guess I'll tell you a little bit about the walk around part of the project, which I'm going to be calling Dune Swept. That's obviously going to take place in the final space remaining of the dream bubbles. We're going to play as Terezi primarily. And have her sort of make sense of the events of and the events leading up to Resolve as she experienced them. There won't be any severe spoilers. If you're worried about that, so I'm going to keep any discussion of the content to stuff that I don't think would perturb anyone. Ooh, a little shape like that, maybe. I might include some light puzzle elements. We'll see. I'm getting a lot of help from the inimitable Janaya, who I think everyone knows at this point, is probably one of the most prolific coders and programmers in the fandom right now. And I'm really excited for people to see some of the stuff that she's doing. It's really fantastic. Like, folks are gonna get spoiled. They don't know what's coming. Spoiled by Janaya's projects, not mine. I mean, I'm gonna try. I'm not saying I'm not gonna try and spoil the audience. Of course, that's always the idea, but the flattery is intended for Janaya. Well, let's see. But after Dune Swept, I think we're going to be looking at exclusively normal pages for the rest of the story. Unless, of course, I lose all perspective and decide I need to do something for the finale. Alright, that's starting to look better. I'm starting to like that. I'd put some music on, but I don't know. It's gonna be short. I'm not gonna stay here for the normal 3 hours I used to do on streams. And also just with everything getting hit with so much DMCA lately. Like, I don't know that I would be jeopardized, because video game music seems to be, since streaming games is such a thing, caught in a gray area of what DMCA can grab. The internet has just gotten smarter and worse. Why do my rocks make you hungry? Because they have shiny, and they have color, and that's it's like berries, I guess. I don't know. I really have no idea, but no, I don't like that shape I'm doing right there. Also, I have no idea what I think is going on in this section. What am I trying to do there? What is that? What angle is that red at? What direction does that face? And how is the light gonna interact with it? Maybe like that? Possibly? Yeah. That'll be fine, probably. I don't know. Doing the bounce light. It's probably the trickiest part. Maybe that's fine. I don't know if you can hear my tablet pen the way I'm kind of stippling it against the surface. Hopefully the mic's not picking that up. No, it definitely is. Well, that's sort of the technique to get like these little these effects. Of course, you can very meticulously go in and do the alternating, and I think touches of that can look nice. It can make it feel very, very deliberate. But it's also okay to just sort of, stipple and let it be a bit more expressive, I think. I could do that. I don't know what that is though. So I've got this kind of weird interplay of like the brown surface and the red surface. It's supposed to be playing off of how the towers and rocks are drawn in canon, which is just you have just a red, and you have like a darker red, and then you have a brown. So I thought, well, let's just sort of play with like maybe these rocks are somewhat iridescent or something. Here, we'll just do that, and then we'll darken this whole facet to like tuck it in, I think. I think that makes sense. No, I hate it. I've got another window where I've got it zoomed out so I can always see it at a distance. At about the same distance the player will. I could just tuck this in here like that as a little, yeah, okay, that might be fine. I'm gonna just put some sort of ambiguous shapes there. Not here though. It's all just about like balancing areas of color, getting them to work together so they look like something. I spy a Mio. Hello. Happy Sunday. Pigs alert. What am I doing at this side of it? Maybe I could just, yeah, this kind of works. Okay. I feel like there is a medium tone in there that I missed. Okay, good. So now, I think we're almost done with this rock. I say, then I realize I have no idea what I'm doing with this part of it, or this part of it. Will just some highlights save it? No. No, it really won't. Maybe some subtle highlights. Yeah. No. Oof. It's the sun of days. Truly. I think I'm going to try and make these streams a regular thing again going forward. I think they were helpful in just keeping a consistent pace, not ever letting it get so distant that as a project that it would be intimidating to pick back up again, because I would have started to forget a lot of things and get too far behind. But let's just say it wasn't very easy to think about Homestuck in the past couple months. There's a lot of things that did not really make that very exciting. But hey, this is just rocks. I don't have to think about Homestuck to paint rocks. So yeah. The only problem with that is I will have to start working pretty far ahead, because I deliberately designed Dune Soap so that the art assets would not be a very big ask. There's this I have to finish, there's one interior space, and then I'm pretty much done. There's another thing I might include, but if I'm going to, I'm gonna use free assets online. I'm gonna get a different tile set, I could have even done that for this. So the only reason I'm painting these rocks is because I want to, and I like painting rocks. So the Dune Stuff will not have that much art that I have to do for it, and I'll probably be done with all of the art before I would even finish a second stream next week. So the question is then, what do I work on? And that would probably be jumping forward and just doing the script and the pages, the panels, for the updates that come after, which is fine. People who watch the work streams will, they traditionally, you already kind of get spoiled about what the next pages are going to look like, things like that. So that doesn't bother me. Spoilers don't really bother me that if they're available for people. It would bother me if people were encountering them without, wanting to. But just conceptually, I don't really mind people learning about you know, something outside of the context of the work itself. I don't always think that's as important as it is made out to be. Definitely a problem if someone's trying to avoid them, though, and you can't do that. Apparently there's some... I've been playing a lot of Destiny. That's where I've been in the past few months. I've been playing a lot of Destiny and a lot of The Sims. You know, apparently right now there's a bunch of spoilers floating around for something in Destiny. There was apparently some kind of leak. So yeah, like I like the kind of behind the scenes stuff. Whenever I can see it. There was a behind the scenes Riff was talking about of the Dark Crystal special that Netflix canceled. And I should look into seeing some stuff about that, because like the legacy of Jim Henson in that production value, it's holy shit. Absolutely gorgeous show. Okay, I cannot get this rock to look like she's having a normal one. She doesn't look right to me. She does not look right to me. I don't understand what she wants. Maybe she needs, like, no, she hates me. She does not want to have anything to do with me. And, you know, who am I to tell her she's wrong? So maybe I just need to leave her alone. I really don't like this rock. It's my least favorite rock. But I'm gonna have to stop being precious about it, because it needs to be done. So I think we'll just kind of finish her up how she's turning out, and we'll make do. And I'll show you guys the little dithering technique I'm using. I could just angle everything like that. I don't know that I want to. I don't know what the alternative is for this little chunk. Maybe like this. Maybe like that. Ooh, the directionality. Trying to get it to be clear in just a few pieces can be very hard. You're really just carving out facets. You sort of have to... I could do a more, like, programmatic approach, like starting out and just draw a shape with a bunch of different, like, facets pointing in different directions, and then kind of like create a map of light for the scene. This is something you could always do, like, and then maybe like use the browns to dictate left and right. Are you the... yeah. And then like that, and then like that. You could make a little shape like that, and then imagine, you know, that the red is coming from this direction, these directions are red, and then light from this direction hitting would be the lighter brown. I'm sort of just doing that, but I'm also kind of fudging it, like because a shape wouldn't have kind of the brown stripe up the middle like I showed, and how the land of Sand and Zephyr is stylized, which is sort of like that. There's just this brown stripe next to the start of the shadow. And I'm just sort of interpreting that as like indirect light, or light that's kind of hitting this form sideways is more brown, and then like direct light is more red, and then we're saying the bounce light from the sand is also kind of filling in and creating that red. So this is like partially in shade, this brown part here, so light that's coming in, even though it's from the top, it's still kind of like it's actually coming from this direction, and it's just grazing that facet there. Painting's stupid. Art's stupid. Don't do it. Listen, if you still have time to not be an art, to not do art, you still have time. You can just not. Just walk out. Hit the bricks. I really don't like this rock. I really hate it. I hate this stupid rock. Let's just... Oh, that's ugly. But we're gonna have to live with her. She's just going to be like that. That's gonna be her. Let's give her a little bit here. A little bit like... No, it's too sharp. A little bit like that. A little bit of softening of the edge there. A little bit of highlighting. Art is fun. That's true. Never mind, art's good. I take it all back. I think part of the process for me is just getting mad. getting mad at the work. Not in an unhealthy way, but like we might call her there. We might just have that be her. I'm gonna sneak in a little bit more bounce light right here, I think. But that's gonna be her, and then I'll move on to just kind of showing some things in Animate. And then we'll come back and we'll touch up the ground, and I'll do some shadows, kind of like I did here. Because these are deceptively simple. Like, it looks like I put a lot of time into that. I didn't. That's the best thing about art. Oh, my favorite Vast Error Troll. It's a toss-up between, and I know this is a cop-out, but it's a toss-up between Taz and Elsie. Taz is just really cool. She shares my class spec, so that's kind of fun. But Elsie is just kind of like delightful, and her design's really cute. And she's very fun to draw. And I just kind of appreciate characters that have a playful energy, kind of despite the really exceptional circumstances they've been subjected to, I guess. But yeah, Taz is probably if I just had to pick one, it's got to be Taz, because she's very relatable, you know. Yeah, you do things because you're the only person who will do them. Well, while we're here, let's ignore my Discord notification that is pinging me, and let's find my cursor, which has gone missing. Let's go here. So here we are in Animate, which is Animate and Flash are the same program. They really are. They work in the same way. If you're learning to use Flash, everything works the same in Animate. Animate also is more stable and can do a couple more things. So if anyone says like Animate, they mean Flash, but the new version. What I've done here is it's kind of the same stuff, but we've got these different layers that are these different assets. Here I've got, let me zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see. So I've got the top of the windmill, the very front here. I've got the blades on their own layer, and I've got nothing on this layer, nothing at all, nothing on this layer apparently. Then I just have an image that is like the tower and the back of the windmill and everything's saved together, because this is just a test. This isn't actually split up into all the assets that we are going to use. Realistically, the shadow and the tower and the windmill part are going to be cut up into different portions, or maybe saved together in different reassembled chunks, so they can be put into engine and the engine can know what to do with them, like how characters will walk behind them and in front of them, etc., etc. But what I've done here is I wanted to do something for the windmills in Dune Swift, and I want the blades to be animated. So if we... Can we get everything visible? Yeah. So we'll see. I'll back up a little bit. So if you watch here, and we kind of drag through the timeline, both the windmill blades and the shadow are going to animate. And we're going to save these out as PNG frames that the engine will then recompile into an animated sprite. And how this was done is, let's go ahead and grab this guy and go in here. So this is its own symbol, and in Flash symbols, they're one object that can be manipulated with scales and skews and rotations and color effects and things like that, but symbols can also contain other symbols. So you can manipulate one symbol, and by doing so, manipulate every single frame of all the symbols that are inside of it, which is handy for creating these windmill blades, because these are all just like this shape. If I go into my library, the blades are they're flat. I did not make them like in that perspective. They're just flat. And there's a single blade, like, and I just rotated it 90 degrees, and I put that into a symbol called Windmill Blades. And then we did a rotation in the container symbol. So this is where the animation of it turning 90 degrees is, in this one. But then out in the scene, we take the overall symbol of the windmill blades, so it's the topmost symbol, and then we skewed it and we gave it a transform. So now that's how we see the rotation happening perspective, and we just did the same thing for the shadow, but we just applied an RBG adjustment layer to it to turn it into that light brown instead of the red, and we put it underneath this part of the shadow, so that when it turns, when the blades turn under the core shadow, it doesn't lighten it. And this is just a start. I might do a little bit more, like maybe put a nice gradient on the windmill blades with some masking, and then maybe put like a core shadow of the same darker brown in the middle of these shadow blades here. But that's basically how it is and how it works. I exported it as a GIF, which I can take apart into Photoshop if I need to reduce the frames, or like change it to be every other frame. If 99 frames is too many, I suspect it will be. So yeah, that is how you would in Animate create an animation of windmill blades in a perspective. What I would really like to be able to do is like squeeze these two corners here together a little bit, but I was in a rush and I did not figure out how to do that, and I don't feel that it's necessary, and there's so many things I'm working on right now that I've chosen to move on. But if I do, I'll lose my mind and decide that that's absolutely necessary for the project, I'll probably come back and explain what I learned and what I did. So yeah, there's that. Let's move on to... Oh, okay, I did save, that's good. How responsible of me. To the shadow. So for the shadows, we have a palette of browns This is a warmer brown because the red light of the tower is bouncing into the ground. And then we have this one, and then this one here, and then this lighter one here. And that's just me showing the palette that we have. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 colors. So let's just really quickly kind of draw out what the shadow of this shape would be. It'd probably be something like this. It doesn't have to be exact. It's not that important. And then we'll go in and we'll take the next color and we'll just kind of fill it in. Kind of refining as we go. Oh, do I think they get more interaction? I would love to see them interacting more. I think they have a lot in common. I think it would be cool to see their relationship develop. But obviously, I can't speak to what's gonna happen in the future. Even if I knew, it would be spoilers. So I will not. But I would like them to kind of, you know, I think share their experiences and grow a little bit. I think that'd be cool. And then I keep this core shadow close to the objects. I don't let it wander away too much, you know. And the best part about this technique I'm going to do here is it can be pretty messy. We're going to do something that kind of cleans up after us, so no need to be perfect. Alright, so there we go. And so now you'll notice in this panel here I've got all these other layers in this little shadow folder that have these masks on them. So let's go, I think this is down here. If we take off this layer, we see I've kind of done the same sort of initial shadow drawings, and this is very messy here, you can see, for this tower. And then on this layer up here, it kind of has all this dithering, and that's because this is a mask. That is, if we zoom in real close, it's every other pixel is selected and every other one is not. So this is how how you get cheap free dithering, I suppose, for your pixel art. So if we just take this selection here, we can create a new layer and create a new mask, and that is already for us just created essentially a layer that will do these pixels for us, and we can just kind of brush in the colors that we're using. And then you can kind of see as we zoom out that gets the same effect, and I think it looks quite nice. So there we go. And that is pretty much right away some very easy pixel art. So there we go, we've made a rock today. Hello, Elias. welcome to the stream. We are only going to go, I think, for about 10 more minutes. I was going to just do an hour today, but we talked about some pixel art. We talked about some animation. That's about all we talked about. But I'm just starting to do these streams again, and we're gonna have them a little bit shorter to start with, but I'm gonna aspire to make them regular so that I stay kind of on track for the project. Because I would like to get this done eventually. I'm not rushing myself. I don't think anyone particularly needs Act 8 to be done. I don't know that there's anybody super invested, but but I would like to get it done, and I think it would be nice to get it done. And it's something I enjoy working on. Alright, well, what can we talk about for the last 10 minutes? Maybe this. I was gonna maybe work on a terrain interior, for the interior here, a little bit. And terrain is always a little tricky. Like, less is more. Less is really more when you're making, a terrain, because the focus on whatever it is that you're working on really should be on the character. So a rule I kind of have is, let's take a look at the character sprite and at the palette used in Mina's character sprite. So we've got, you know, these pinks, these grays, you know, these yellows, you know, all these colors. Mina's design is so cool. I really like it. So you'll notice, like, the difference in hue. We have very strong differences in hue, and we have very strong differences in value. You know, we have 100% differences in value here. We have the whitest whites and the blackest blacks. So for an environment, the rule is basically, you can never have a relationship of contrast in an environment asset that a character is going to walk over that has a greater, like a higher contrast relationship than the character sprite. And that's complicated by it being relational. So, like, if I had... See, even if I was trying to make like a very dark environment for some reason, like let's say this was maybe a lava plane, so we had like a lava plane with a bunch of swirling like magma and everywhere, I still wouldn't use these colors. I wouldn't use them because the character would start to disappear into the background. So what you would do for a lava plane is, even though yes the color of the object is black, you would probably start with like you would go up at least 20%, at least 1/5 of the value range, and make it start at like sort of a blue, and then maybe you dip down into like a warmer for some shadows in here, and then for the top you would like go into not quite that strong, but hopefully the idea gets across. So we're not doing that though, we're just gonna stick with this brown. So like the lightest color I'm probably gonna use in creating an environment tile, it's probably not going to be any lighter than like this, you know? We might just make little rocks there. Little rocks and cracks. And the cool thing about working with pixel art in like a modern context is, you know, you can do things like the windmill that I pointed out, but you can also just save entire backgrounds as flat images, and they can be, you know, so much larger. They can have such a broader range of colors. You can do like, you can fake dynamic lighting and kind of bake it into the 2D assets. Not, you can't fake dynamic lighting, I should say. You can fake very nice lighting and bake it into the 2D assets because you have the entire range of, you know, colors. So I like pixel art. Like I that's how I got started, I guess, doing art, at least for projects and for games. I would pull apart the art assets of like my favorite games, the pixel art of my favorite RPGs, to figure out how like the tiles worked. I'd put them back together into assets for RPG Maker. So yeah, it's kind of nice to get back to my roots. I don't have the opportunity to do pixel art very often anymore, but it's been nice. Oh, hi Val, sorry I didn't see you come in. I was talking about pixels. It's shaking pretty good. It's shaking up. I've only been streaming for 46 minutes. That's not an hour. Well, I don't really have anything else to talk about. But maybe I'll spend just a good 15 minutes just trying to get this ground started. So I do have to make some choices. I have to decide how it's going to tile. I sort of just kind of roughing out this square, and we might just see how this square tiles around. Excuse me, where are you? Oh, you're up here? No, I don't think I'm going to like that at all. I might need to take a different approach than a tile for this one. We might just need to kind of take, no, I'm just kind of doing the same thing. This could be good. Maybe something like this. Just kind of move that around like that, and then put some details here and there. I feel like a lot of people can intuit how tiles work and come together a lot more easily than I can. I'm not really into that. It looks too cobblestone. I want something that feels a little just bit more like dirt. I could just create like some noise. Let's do monochromatic. Let's do something like that. And then nearest neighbor. But before we do that, we'll go filter, pixelate, mosaic. Yeah, that's good, I think. Maybe we'll try a different one. Maybe fragment? No, like it's too repetitive. Crystallize. Well, that's fine, I guess. And then I want to do an index color. There's probably a faster way to do this, but I'm going to do it this way. And we're going to do local selective, perceptual I think is better. Let's do like 3. Now that should be 3 colors. Yeah, it's 3. Okay, let's put that back. And now let's stretch. Remember, we're on nearest neighbor. Maybe even bigger. And that's gonna give us something to start with. It's not great, as you can see, but we can kind of like, I could just draw over this, I guess, until I like what I'm looking at. Let's get rid of. No, let's get rid of that. Maybe now we can do like that. Nope. Interesting that it wants to put it back to being 3 colors there. Well, we could do... Yeah, this is not a lot of exciting stuff. This is just sort of wandering around. A lot of art is not very exciting. It's just wandering. It's not really working for me. I think I'm going about it backwards. I think what I know needs to happen, for the most part, is this sort of light filling the room. So first up, we'll just go, like I say, 26 opacity, and we'll do that. And of course, we'll start thinking about the entrance here. And we'll duplicate that. And then we'll kind of shrink this. Yeah, there's basically 2 different ways you can go about creating a surface. You can start with its local textures and attributes, and then put the light over it, or you can start with the light, and it's almost always the correct choice to start with the light. I just forget every time, and think that I can focus on the local qualities of like the dirt or the grass, because that's what we tend to think about, but you wouldn't be able to see any of that stuff if it wasn't for the light hitting the object to begin with, so. Because now if hello? Hello? Oh, you still have opacity, huh? now will kind of show what I mean. We can just kind of draw in our little surface features from the outside. Like we can start painting in little cracks and elements like this. Like that. Probably just a couple of these is going to be simple enough. And then we can even do things like, you know, create our little rocks. Like I do want a bunch of nice little rocks here. Maybe with a brighter part of their swatch than everything else. Yeah, I think just some of those and it's going to be fine. And we can like kind of draw in some dirt so you kind of feel like there's dirt. Yeah, I think that's the right choice. I don't know why I was being an idiot. So we'll do it that way. And I also have to create the light for the entrance here, which I'll do. But I think I don't really like that color palette I've selected for it. I'll figure that out later. Alright, well we have about 3 minutes. Are there any final questions? Questions about the project, questions about life, the universe, and everything? I'm gonna sip my coffee while I wait. I don't know what else to say. There's there was some smoke here, but it's been clearing up today, so you know, it's I haven't been as affected by a lot of the things going on around as I could have been, so I am grateful for that. I don't see any reason why I won't be able to continue working on the project in the future, and continuing streams and everything kind of looks good for me going forward. So just was happy to be able to come on and stream for a bit, touch base with people, and let everyone know I'm back in the saddle. I'm back in the saddle on the world's like slowest donkey, but it's okay. Because like this isn't urgent. Like there is no way in the world that I would consider this project to be urgent. But hopefully it's enjoyable to folks anyway. So yeah, thank everybody for coming. Thank you archival watchers for taking a look. I hope something about the pixel art was interesting. And yeah, you can leave it. You know where to find me. You guys can leave comments if you have any more inquiries. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Take care. Have a great